like what are the best methods of communication, I would say. It's one of the most important things. How often do we need to see each other is important, okay? Because from my experience, you need to talk to your business banker every 3 months at least to keep a good relationship, sometimes month to month, right? So I would think that's very important. Ask your business banker, like what is your experience in my industry? Or what have you seen that has worked? What resources do you have for my type of business? Okay.
Because you're more educated. And that's what's happening. They see that you're not kind of so.
Another thing that's important to ask, do I get any discounts on any products by being your customer, right? If you're a BMO customer, you get discounts on payroll services, okay? So if you're going through Bustos, if you're going into ADP, that's a whole separate service that you're getting into, and that's another fee. If you have all your relationship with BMO, we'll give you a major discount, okay? You will also get benefits from merchant services. So you get very competitive rates, and sometimes we have rebate promotions on the products, so you can accept payments, as well as the transactions that you're getting in, so the percentage fee as well. So those are things to consider. Another thing that I would like to share is that I am the type of business banker that if what you're looking for is not something that I can do at a specific moment, I'll find the resources or to help you get there. So for example, I have a customer that, he had a startup business, he does photography, and he needed to buy equipment. Now, he doesn't have any business credit, right, established. He doesn't have any type of relationship at any bank. So I talked to him, tell me about your personal situation, do you own a home? And he said, yeah, come, I own a home. And then I asked him, okay, do you have any equity? He said, yes. So we offer home equity lines of credit, and some people don't know that, right? So I referred him to our branch manager, and he was able to help him get a line of credit, and then you can utilize it for whatever need you have, right? So just to know that there's different products that are in the bank that you might need or will help your business succeed is very important. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about.
Before you move on,
Go ahead.
just 2 questions. One, what is your fees for like cashier's checks, money orders for business banking? And if you have employees that come to your bank to cash, say my checks, what do you charge an employee that does not have an account with your bank?
Right, that's a great question. So for the personal accounts, I don't know because I don't handle them myself, but I can get back to you on that. You can shoot me an email or a text message.
Okay.
Now, for business checks, right? If you're a business customer,
Correct.
there's no fee. There's no fee. There might be a hold the first time or the first month that you open the account, and that is normal because it's a bank regulation. So after that month, it will be removed. So, and it is typically for deposits like over $5,000 or check deposits at the beginning of the relationship. Now, there's different things right now that I would suggest. If you can, get rid of the checks, if you can. Because the amount of fraud it's insane. Not only that, I would say the struggles that you will have to go through as a business owner, because you have to come to the bank, we have to block your account, you have to tell me all the checks that you sent, the check numbers, and we have to put a note on the system, high risk, so you're probably going to have to reopen another account. It's crazy. I would not recommend it. Now we have better ways. Now we have Bill Connect, which will help you do ACH transactions. We have also Sell, which I highly recommend for business customers as well if the transactions are not too high. And we have wire transfers, and we have treasury management services too if the amounts that you're trying to transfer are higher than, for example, $50,000, right? Then you will go through those resources. But yes, so for you, it would be free. To cash or deposit, it will be free. Would that answer your question? So when it comes to business lending, sir, do you have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, fantastic. A lot of nonprofits
Okay.
that go after grants,
Okay.
and in many cases, when they're awarded a grant, in many cases they need funds prior to, although they have the grant award letter, yes, in many cases they need to have access to the funds before they actually receive the grant. And in many cases, many of these grantors ask for a commitment from a bank, etc., saying that the bank would provide some of the funding that meets the amount of the grant. Do you guys have situations where that happens?
Well, personally, I haven't had that situation. So in this case, just to understand the picture a bit better, so the non-for-profit is looking for a grant to start up.
Has been awarded
Has been
a
awarded
grant.
a grant.
It's
Has
a
been awarded
reimbursement.
a reimbursement. Yeah,
Just to
thanks,
add to the
thanks.
story.
Which means that the money would be paid back, but it's a commitment from the grantor, a commitment in hand.
I see
That's
what
where
you're
they've
saying.
already committed the money, but it's a reimbursable grant. So then it turns into a cash flow issue.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you to that point, I haven't had that situation at the bank. Nobody has brought it up, so thank you. It's a good perspective because I didn't think that was something that other banks and institutions were doing. Now, directly when it comes to grants and sponsorships, that is not something that I do directly, but I do know that our bank, for example, we have grants that come up for different industries, different times of the year, okay? Now, I also work closely with the small business consultants right in front of my building downtown. I don't know if you're familiar with Diana Walker. She used to work here as a minority certification. So she also keeps me posted with the grants that are going on as far as like technology, and I would refer my business customers there. Now, if you're looking for a grant and you're not for profit, you will have to let me know so I can bring it up to higher ups to see if it's going to go through community development, if it's going to go through like business banking, or if it's going to go through like retail operations. Because I know, for example, in my area, it has to be, for example, when it comes to business, right? It has to be that you're helping a business customers, right? For you to be able to get a grant, and it has many levels. So
Right.
that's what I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, I would say I'm not gonna say no, but if you have that scenario, and I will try to find as much information as I can. Okay? Yeah. So talking about the grant that we do, for example, for Women's Month, right? We offer a women's grant for business women. And this grant, we give out 8 prizes for $10,000, and it's an application that takes 5 minutes. And this is available for all of our business customers. So it's something to think about, right? And we offer also, once you're a business customer, we also offer a lot of resources when it comes to, for example, doing, if you're like hosting an event for your non-for-profit or something like that, and you would like us to attend, depending on the size, the time frame, you can bring it up to me, and I can help you, with the event, or if you need, to bring some food, if you need me to present financial literacy or anything like that. Okay? So there's ways. There's different ways that we can help you. So I return to the page Lending Solutions for BMO Harris Bank. I want to go over with you what do we offer to help your business when it comes to access to capital, right? So there's things that not too many people are going to tell you, but when we are at the bank, right, we look for your credit. So what's your credit? But you would say, okay, I have a 650 per se. But it's not just a number. We look at your credit history, your payment history, how many inquiries have you had. And I think the heaviest or the factor that gets most people declined is that sometimes they don't check their credit at least once a year, and they don't know what they have, right? So the bank takes a few things very seriously. And this can go, for example, bankruptcy, is very serious. Sometimes it can take 7 to 10 years to be removed from your credit, right? So sometimes, because we are through check system, it will be an automatic decline when it's a bankruptcy, and it's too recent, okay? So I have a customer that's had a bankruptcy 5 years ago. She divorced from her husband, and it's just being hard, you know. So at least 2 more years, she can go ahead and apply for credit again. The other thing that we take very seriously is delinquency. So late payments on your credit history is very important. Collections, right? Collections as well. And sometimes it's funny, but it's not as complicated as it seems. Sometimes it's just one collection item that, for example, you owe $100. It was in a Spectrum bill from 3 years ago, and it's affecting you, right? So my advice would be check your credit very often. You know, right now every bank has their own FICO credit score, and they have like a link that says check your credit report for free. Have Credit Karma. Are you familiar with Credit Karma? It's this amazing app that tells you everything that you need to know. Even like the collection's name, who do you need to call, their phone number, and the address. Yes, and where to dispute the transactions. So I use that tool very often. I also use it with my customers and myself. The other factor that, so say that everything is good. I have a good credit score. Even if I were to have a 680, per se, I have a 680, I don't have collections, I don't have payment history. The only thing I have is one credit card at Capital One. And that credit card, I owe more than 30% of the limit. Then the bank is also going to look at that. So sometimes I'm like, okay, hold on, let me understand how many credit cards do you have and how are you utilizing them, okay? So often cases, the customer is in a great situation but gets a decline because the credit card is at 47% utilization. Only that. So my recommendation would be come in at the perfect time when you pay it down, or when you know that you go to your Credit Karma and the credit card is under like 25% utilization, then come to apply for credit, okay? Because that's going to give you the best result at the application. Now, I understand with the situation and everything that's going on, even myself, I'm using my credit cards, you know, it's completely okay. It's just that for the application purpose, when you come to the bank, it will put you in a better position. That's what I'm saying. If you already have a credit card right now that you had for 10 years and you never called the bank to say, hey, can you increase my limit? This is the time to do it. Because if the card was $10,000 limit and you owe $5,000, but now they up the limit to $15,000, then you're on the 30% utilization and you're good.
So are we talking about the personal or the business or both?
Both.
All right.
When it
So
comes
when
to-
you're applying, both are factors
Yeah.
in determining whether or not.
Definitely. Another good question is just coming up while I talk. For the credit card and your bank card, ask them, who do you use for your credit bureau? Is an important question, right? Because we have three. We have TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. And if you look at the Credit Karma, not all the numbers are the same. Or like sometimes our TransUnion is 700, sometimes the other one is 680. So that way you will know to have that credit score number for that specific bank where you need it to be at. For example, in my case, in BMO, we use TransUnion, okay? But I know a lot of banks use like just Experian or Equifax. So that's a good question to also ask your bank.
Why is that? And why, in many cases, is the delta or the difference between credit reporting agencies so different?
Right. No, because if you look at every product that you have reports to a specific credit bureau,
Okay.
right? And that's why they have different ones. So if you look, for example, when you have Credit Karma and you have a mortgage, most mortgages are going to go through TransUnion, right? And they're going to show them the other one. So it kind of measures that, and they have different numbers because that specific product has a specific history. And that's so, for example, if you have a house here, but then you have auto loan with Equifax, then that Equifax, maybe that auto loan you pay late, that your score is going to be lower here, but it's going to be higher in your mortgage.
Okay.
So it's going to play different factors. Now the FICO score, that you see at Bank of America, Wells Fargo is a combination of all of them.
Hard question. I know that the easy answer is that it depends. Yes. When talking about FICO scores,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
What's the historically, through your experience, what's been the lowest number where an underwriter would look at a FICO score and say, "This is not even worth our time"?
That's a great question. Because through our programs, there's different guidelines, right? So for the minority certification program, the credit score has to be at least 640, okay?
Yep.
Now, as I said, we look at the number, but we also look at the delinquency, late payment, bankruptcy. Now, for regular lending, say you come to the bank and I want to apply for a loan, it's going to be 680, and that is pretty standard, like nationwide, when it comes to
And
lending.
the 680 is for what lending? You said,
So any type of lending when it comes to business, right?
Okay.
Like it could be a credit card, a line of credit, term loan, commercial real estate. It's going to be 680.
okay.
Yeah. So
Do you look at DUNS scores as well? The DUNS number?
we don't, but there's banks that do. One of the things that it just came up when I used to work at Grow Financial Federal Credit Union. It's a great bank. That's when I did my commercial lending. I got my underwriting experience. That bank, unfortunately, for the businesses, doesn't report credit. And it is a great bank, but what happens is that it's very expensive for a bank to report to the credit bureau. That's another question that you should ask your business banker. Does your bank report business credit? It's very important because not everybody does it. Yeah, it's very expensive. So a lot of credit unions don't. It's a good question to ask, just in case. You don't want to have that credit card utilizing and then look, no, I never built business credit. Where did this go? So that is very important. Also, a bank that understands that how you handle business and how you transact business. A lot of banks don't have sell to yet on their platform. We do. That's important to have. That are, I would say, ask them, how are you doing on the digital times? Like, what do you have in place for my business? Because some banks, they stayed in the past, right? And they're not doing these new things right now. So it's very important.